now. Good evening and welcome to the Flory Models live show on St. Patrick's Day, which is also known as my birthday, which I have to say has made for some quite interesting birthdays over the last 49 years. Having it on today's day, as you might imagine.
It's a good excuse to go out for a drink.
It is a very good excuse to go out for a drink, and that's why if I cast my mind back, and although I know, like we were discussing earlier, I have the mind of a goldfish these days, but I can't remember many of them.
I bet you can.
Which is a sign of a good night, I think. Yes, definitely. So, but anyway, good evening. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're all doing very well. Let me pop the chat up. Everyone's on there. My microphone is turned on. I better check that. Yes, it is. So we're all good. So, yes, happy birthday. Thank you very much for everybody's birthday wishes and that. Much appreciated. Yes, very good indeed.
John says you look good for 65.
Absolutely. I know. It's my youthful complexion, clearly.
Is that a lot of work done?
That's it. Now, I've got a big bulldog clip at the back of my head
that
just pulls it all back. So, but yes. Anyway, we trust you're all doing very well at home. As I say, it's a bit of a free-for-all evening tonight for question-wise, so feel free to post up there. But as I say, as always, we'll have a look around. John, how have you been doing this week?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Have you done any modelling at all?
I have.
See?
Hang on.
Hold on. Crank up.
We're waiting.
Dum, 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 dum. Here he comes. Oh, look, we have a base.
I have a base.
Ace of base.
I have a tank to go on said base, but I've not put it on the base yet because the base is still wet.
Oh, right, okay. There you go. You can embed into it.
Yeah, so just a simple base.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a desert scene. I've got... Hang on.
Oh, don't cut your fingers on the barbed wire.
Bit of barbed wire fencing to go on, and it'll look the part.
What'd you make your barbed wire out of?
Very fine copper wire.
Right. What? You tied the spikes in?
Twisted a couple of pieces together, and then sort of wrapped in loops.
Very nice.
Make the barbs.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a little sort of description of how I did it on the build thread, which I've updated this week.
Excellent.
But yeah, I need to take the base indoors really, because although I don't want it to dry too quick, it's been like 3 days now and it's still...
So quickly just talk us through your process.
It's a plywood base.
Yes.
Which I've edged with just some plasticard.
Uh-huh.
And then I've used... Oh, put it away. I've used the DAS air drying clay.
Right.
And just put a thin layer down. I made some track imprints with the old rubber band tracks at the kit.
Right.
And then I bought some scenic gravel, some chipping that I've used, got out the garden to make some rocks with. And then I've also got some, is it sea foam it is, isn't it? They call it.
Nitrogen, isn't it?
Just to make, yeah, just to make some like bushes and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so I have done something this week.
Very good. Excellent. We'll let you off your own work then. Excellent. Good job. Looking good there, John. And Nathan, how are you? How was your week?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yes, doing very well, thank you. What have you been up to?
Do you know what? I'll show you now on the camera. It's one of those where you've spent another week on a build, but it looks like it's the same place it was a week ago.
Yeah, I know that one.
In one evening's work was the gun site.
Mm-hmm.
That's one evening taken care of. But to be honest, I've just been working on sort of peripheral bits of the Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
Seams, checking and that sort of stuff. And I've decided that the wheel well is grey-green.
Right. Are you sure about that?
Well, given that I can't find any photographs, period pictures of Indian Tempests.
Right.
I reckon it's 100% accurate.
A safe bet.
Yeah, I don't know. Just basically because the whole aircraft's silver. Thought I needed something with contrast.
Yeah.
So I held, not too stressed about accuracy, to be honest.
Good job. Excellent. Looking good. And Matt,
Hello.
going to show us your figure. Your fine figure.
You're a bit forward, aren't you? I know
You
it's
know
your
me.
birthday,
You didn't ask that in years.
Yeah, that's it.
Steady on.
Normally I'll get a slap.
Yeah, you will. There you go. I've been painting this dude here.
Very nice.
So that is a Young Miniatures Luftwaffe Bomber Crew, which Nathan will be inheriting for whenever he does a show next. He can stick it next to something or other.
Yes.
Next bomber.
So yeah, I've been painting this guy up and putting him together. So I can spin him round. Oh, his arms fell off. Everything's kind of just put together with
He's just ripped his arm off.
blue tack. I know it's only blue tacked on into place.
Very nice. That's very good, actually. Lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all right. Like I said, I have to pin it. You have to pin them because it's a bit sort of
Yeah.
fake. But yeah, been enjoyable actually.
Is that the
Nice.
correct colours for a Luftwaffe uniform from 1940?
As long as it's beige.
Have you got the correct cigarette brand?
Yeah.
Probably. You ain't got a filter.
Oh, right. Okay.
I
Filterless.
presume they're correct for the age. I don't know.
Yes.
But, yeah, no, it's all right. It's good sculpt as usual. They always are with these Young Miniatures ones. Are really nice sculpts. So, yeah. The only thing I'm missing is what we've been trying to figure out is on the side. Let me just move him out of the way. On the side of his helmet,
Yes.
there's the Luftwaffe emblem on that side, and then like the crest of the red, white, and black.
Yeah.
And we get no decals and no anything. So we're gonna have to conjure something up because otherwise that line up. Yeah, because it obviously being Luftwaffe, they had stuff imprinted on their helmets, didn't they? So
Yes.
it's just a bit odd how you don't get anything at all. You'd have thought they'd give you something because you get. Let's see if I can get in it.
Well, a good figure painter would hand paint it on.
Well,
Yeah, well,
true, isn't
I'm
it?
not, so you get all your little bits of wire for his headphone cabling and stuff. But yeah, that's about it. There's nothing else in there, so I don't know. Figure it out at some point. But yeah, I've got a bit of his hand to finish off, and yeah, pin it all, glue it, and call him done. Get a nice plinth. So
Cool.
and
Very
also, what's not here is I've finished another vid build today.
Right.
Which will, whenever it gets edited together and put up. So that's another one in the bag. So I can start a new vid at some point in the future. So yeah, really productive this week.
Good job this week. Nice job. Okay, as for me, as you can clearly see, we've been working on the Hornets. It's still a loose fit, so if anything falls off, like clearly the engines will and all the rest of it, then you know why. So, but anyway, engines are all done, gears all done now, everything's done. So what we've decided to do is push on with the decaling today. So today I've been decaling, which was obviously a little bit of a minefield because we wasn't sure about this red stripe, if it was going to be correct and work, but it has gone on. And like we were saying before, you can say what you like about the kit being crap, but the decals are really nice because I'm pretty sure they're Cartograph. It says they're made in Italy. So, but the decals always perform really, really well with Revell kits. But yeah, so Black Knights is going on there. To be honest, I've just got the major ones on, and then what we'll do is tomorrow we'll get all the little tiny stencil detail ones on, stuff like that, and then we can sort of get them sealed down, and then we can crack on with the actual paintwork in like the weathering and go through the stages of washes and that, because everything else is still done. It's all separately here, but as I say, you need to get it in. The whole point of really doing it this way is it's such a lump. It's a big lump to deal with, so you can't maneuver it around and spin it around with everything on. But actually, we were talking about it, is that all these parts are actually a good fit. So they do just literally clip in and lock in. I'll get this to go in. And they do hold their own weight, so you can get like the flaps, and it's very posable. And I said we've done the wing fold, so it's all workable and everything as well. And I've mocked it up, and it does all work, and it does all fit really, really well. So my concern was that when you have things modularized like this and in separate components, when it comes together and it doesn't go, so you've got to go back to sanding, fitting, and gluing, and you end up making a right mess of it. So it would have been better to do it as a whole. But I have mocked this thing up, and apart from the tailplanes being a really, really weak join, because literally you've got a tiny little peg a massive thing like this is supposed to clip to it, and it's a little bit worrying if it's going to be enough to hold it. But again, it's not like you're going to be whizzing it around the room, so I think it'll be all right. Once it's folded up and done, we should be good to go. But again, it's all technically done. It's all just ready now for weathering. Decal's finished, we get the weathering onto it, and then obviously pushing through it next week. So we'll be doing loads of things, obviously washes standard, and then we'll be popping in with post shading, and then we'll be coming in with oils. So it'll be like pin washing with oils, and doing the mottling effect and stuff with oils is actually a lot of fun, because you just chuck a load of it on there and splodge it all around it, and it tends to work very, very well. So that's the plan with this. But yeah, we said last week, the light is definitely at the end of the tunnel. We're pretty much there now, so hopefully within the next sort of week, by the end of next week, it should be done. As is, obviously the Hurricane hasn't moved along at all really this week, apart from obviously it's had a satin coat right the way over it, just to bed down these decals properly, make sure they're sealed on, but mainly to give the washes and the weathering something to grip to, because otherwise what's going to happen is that when you wipe it or go near it, it'll just wipe straight off the decals, but it'll be caught in the texture of the paint. So but anyway, that's technically all ready. So I wanted to catch up with this one, get the decals onto it this week, so it's got basically the weekend to dry off, and for those decals to bed down, and then next week it'll be purely into both of them heavy weathering. So by the end of next week, if they're not done, it'll be very, very close to it. So that will be a good one with that one. So yes, that's me this week, really. Busy beaver.
Cool. Just to answer some questions about me figure, we were looking at the doing decals for his helmet thing, and someone was asking about it, didn't realise pilot. It is a bomber crew. Luftwaffe bomber crew, this one, so I think that's why he's got his tin hat on. Because that obviously helps. Presume if you've got being shot with flak and whatever, your tin hat's going to help, innit? So
yes, they used to wear them quite a lot.
Yes, it was just getting the right sizes. I know Andy was looking into it the other night, when we were on, and he was trying to figure out for a 1/10 scale.
Nathan's jumped ship.
Hey, up Nathan's gone.
Where's Nathan gone?
Oh, well, it's us three then. Dropping like flies, aren't we? Come on, John, we're going. We've got things to do.
Hold on, I've got a cunning plan. Look, I can just join you together. Look at that.
Oh, seamless.
Look, you could be like this.
Put one on top of the other.
Yeah, that's it. Hold on, I'll link you together. There we go. Look, that's it. You're seamless. Because if he jumps back in, it's going to pull it apart again. There we go. Close. Is it slightly off? So, but yeah, looking good. Yes, I know. I do look like a party political broadcast. So that's it. This is my other half who raided in here and has done all this. So yes.
Go and get cake.
I have got a very nice cake. She has done a good cake. I'll give her a due. She does do good cakes. So, but she might walk in with it later. We'll have to see. Right. Okay. So, shall we jump into the questions, and then if you guys can keep an eye on live chat.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there. Where's Andy tonight? Just answering that. Yeah. Andy, to be honest, he's not feeling 100% tonight. So he is there. He's literally there.
He is. He's just put up in chat.
Yeah, he's got his feet up and all the rest of it, because he's not feeling 100%. So as we said, you know, it would be better for him to put his feet up and relax a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but he is in chat. So if you've got any questions, badger him in there. Right. Okay. So first question is from Nigel. He says, "Hi Phil and lads." I need to move this, or I'm going to knock it flying. He says, "I'm just wondering if you or the team have built any of the Fly models kits. He's got several 148 Hurricanes in my stash, but I'd like to have a go at the 132nd Mark II D in this scale. Any input would be very helpful." Where have you been, Nigel?
Hey, the man who built it's in chat.
Yeah, the guy who's actually built it's in chat. We often take the mick out of his cracked canopy. Although it's not cracked, it's just frosted. He did the Fly, that actual kit. So Andy, post up in chat. See, and you can answer that one. As for Fly, I've built Fly, and I did, if I can just bring it up, a picture of it. I did the lovely Wessex, 132nd scale Wessex. Crikey, I didn't realise it was this far back. Where is it? Can't be that far back.
About 5 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a few years ago now. But yes, this is it. This is my build of it. We had various kits. You say we did a bit of scratch building, to be honest, with the interior. And again, like I always say, with all Fly kits, you get an idea from the inside. They don't have particular internal molds. It's all on the outside, and it can be a little bit rugged. as you can see, there's no real detail on the insides of the molds. It's all purely on the outside, but you get internal parts that make it up. But the thing is with them, imagine it like a short run kit. If you notice, there's no locating parts to any of it. So there's no pins and it's pretty devoid of detail. But what you do get, as you did in this kit, is resin that takes care of all the detail bits. So you go through, but on the outside you can see it's all recessed details, but you might have the odd alignment problem. Like mine was huge. I had this huge gap all the way down here I couldn't get rid of and go through. But it's one of those kits, like we were saying, it's a proper challenge. Here you go, get in there with the glue. That's how big that step was that I couldn't get. But again, once you sand and blend and go through the motions of it, it really does come out very, very nice. And again, you always get a nice bit of photo etch with it. You get the resin parts, as we were saying, and it does come together. Once you get it in there, you can turn it into something very, very nice, as we did with this one. And again, it's one of those, you look back and think, do you know what? Did a nice job on that. I was happy with that. Even though it's not a straightforward build, it actually comes along. You've got full recessed details. You can see by the time you get a wash on it and stuff, everything pops, comes back to life. And you end up with definitely one of my favourite helicopter builds.
I think they're challenging, but like you said, the basics are there, aren't they? I know Andy's just put up in chat. I think, you know, it's not. I don't think they're easy builds, but they're rewarding. It's one of them. Yeah. And obviously, you know, that lives in the shop, so yeah, I get to see it pretty much every day, and it does look the part. It's really, yeah.
Good. It was, as I say, it's one of those where you could make it really overcomplicated and worry about perhaps it too much. But as long as you're just going to add some details to it as well, perhaps, and things like harnesses and that, it came with ones in the kit, but they weren't particularly nice. So I went along with making my own in there. And again, it's things like, you know, adding small little details to it and bits and pieces. But you do get everything pretty much as you see in the pictures in the box. You know, it does come with quite a lot. There's a review of it, and obviously it's got the full video build to give you an idea. Most fly stuff is like it, but the thing is, if you put the effort in, as you can see, it turned out really nice. It comes out very, very nice. And some of the problems, I think, where people say, oh, it doesn't have locating pins, to be honest, it's better it doesn't, because you can line it up more accurately without the locating pins. So, but generally it's full styrene and resin. It's like a mixed media kit, and the photo etch that goes along with it. But definitely very, very impressive once they're done.
You get some nice schemes in them as well, don't you?
Yes, yeah, no, you do. And as I say, like that one there, to be honest, I've still got the other one here, which is the slightly different version of it, which is, I thought I had one. Have I sold it?
Sold it.
Did we sell it? I sold it. Scrap that, I've sold it. But that's the other version, as I say, they do the H2 and the H3. So say, but they've got like, each kit comes with like 6 or 7 schemes. So very nice job.
The decals weren't bad either, were they?
No, decals are fine. Yeah.
I think fly decals are nice. I mean, with their Hurricanes, they always look the part when they're built. But again, obviously, you've got to think Revell at some point bringing out their 32nd one, aren't they?
Yeah, so, later on this year with only like we will see theirs. That's a Mark IIc, we believe, isn't it?
Yeah, so that will be a bit more of a less stressful build, I think.
Yes.
Well, we say that. We hope it is.
But again, it's one of those, I think, you know, because it's mixed media, you've got resin parts in there, you've got the plastic, there's certainly a lot of photo etch in there as well. If you're not a fan of resin and photo etch, you probably want to avoid it, because there's no getting away from it. You need to use them because a lot of the parts are made up. So like all the steps on it and stuff like that, it's all photo etch. So you can't just dodge it. Otherwise you run half a model, so you need to use them. So if you're not a fan of those things, you probably want to avoid it. But if you do like them, they are perfect because it's more in scale. So really nice.
They're definitely them fly kits aren't for beginners though, are they?
No, they're not a beginner's
I do think you need a bit of experience under your belt before you tackle them, because like I say, they can fit issues and a lot of clean up, test fitting, and you know, what you normally do with limited run stuff. Really, that's the advice, isn't it?
They're not a kit you're going to slap together in a month, are they? You know, you got to give yourself a bit of time.
Yeah.
Again, you know, it's what I would call one of those kits. You go in there eyes wide open. You know what you're getting into. It's a limited run kit. It's not going to fall together. It's not Tamiya. It's not going to hold itself together. So, you know, but at the end of the day, it's totally buildable. It's very accurate from what I've been told. And it goes together really well. Even though, like that one, the fuselage halve is well out and all the rest of it, but you just have to fill it. So once you get round with that mindset of it doesn't fit, that's just fill it and then smooth and blend it. It looked fantastic, and it's the show side of it as well. You can't know it's not, you know, it's there and all the rest of it. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was actually fantastic. I know, like on the thing of this, that was easier still, but it was very challenging, but very rewarding. So I think if you're into a long-term project, you want a slow burner type kit, definitely look at the fly kits.
Thing is, like with your Hornet though, and the Wessex, you knew the Wessex was going to be a handful before you started it. And I know, obviously, we know that's not a great kit, your Hornet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a bit of a noob,
yes,
you'd think, oh, Revell, they're quite a well-known make. It should, you know what I mean? It technically shouldn't have them problems that one's got at all by any stretch, should it?
No.
Where obviously, the fly kits, are limited run, very pretty basic, and you need to be careful with your building and test fit and all that, like we've just said. So yeah.
But I don't know if Andy's mentioned it in chat, but like when he did his one, like he said, it's not a bad kit. I don't think Andy ever said it was a bad kit. It was when he, had problems when he broke the canopy, but that's because he sausage fingers pushed it in, wasn't it, to get it to fit a little bit too well, and they don't. So, but again,
didn't you want to display it open, and you can't display it open? Is that when it's
because that's what they do. To be honest, this one is the other thing to it is that technically, if you slide the canopy back, it changes the way it goes. It doesn't like being both of them. So,
whose kit is it that gives you both canopies?
Yeah, do you know what? I was just about to say that. Well, somebody does,
don't they? The open and closed. Yeah. Is it Airfix?
Or is it the Armour Hobbies one comes with it?
Could be the Armour one.
I think it's the Armour Hobbies actually comes with the open and closed canopy, because if you use the closed canopy, it's narrower. As it goes back, it gets wider, and I think that's the thing. To make it fit down, like Andy just gave it a bit of a nudge and it frosted. It never broke it, just frosted it a bit. And but that's what the problem is. They're not designed to be in the rear position. So,
there you go. He's put it in chat. It wasn't designed to be open, and he flexed it. And obviously, you get. To be fair, though, they were like plastic anyway. They weren't clear, were they?
Yes. Right. One from Nathan. Technical problems. I'm in Skype calling. Can one of you call him in? Because I haven't got it up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't see you. Where are you?
I don't know.
He's in a parallel universe.
Is your camera on?
Yeah, I can hear him. Yeah, we can't see you, dude. Your camera hasn't come back on.
Right, I'll drop out and back in again and then see what happens.
It's like the voice of the Mysterons.
The gremlins.
The gremlins are on us tonight. It's the wee little folk.
This is a proper Thursday show with technical problems, isn't it?
This is it, absolutely. Right, okay, so it's like summing up, very nice kits, but go in there, here he is, come in eyes wide open, as in, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. Yes, you're working, you're in, you're fine.
This is the bad dubbing Hong Kong Fooey audio.
Just before it goes, sorry Phil, the Armour Hobbies release, it's tomorrow. I thought it was today, it's tomorrow.
Yes.
So keep your
ears. Are we going for a 0? We think it's going to be a 0, do we? A Japanese World War II fighter.
It's definitely Japanese, and really, I would have thought it might be a 0, but...
Cherry Blossom's a bit of a clue, isn't it?
It makes sense, and it'd be a safe bet, wouldn't it, to be a 0 rather than something else, but you don't know till tomorrow. We'll know.
No.
I'll tell you what else, just sorry, we're not thinking, but the Revell F-15's out, the new one.
Oh, right.
So we should be getting them in. So obviously I'll bring one down and you can have a butcher's at it.
Yes. So this is what scale's that one?
72nd one, the new one.
C, isn't it?
E, isn't it?
Is it the E? They've done the Strike Eagle, Baby Strike Eagle.
It's an E, isn't it, mate?
Right.
I'm 95% sure it's an E.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Cool. Be nice to see what that one's like, to be honest, because let's face it, the 48 scale one was mega for its time. 20 years ago now that came out. So anyway, next up we've got a thing from Stuart, and he was saying, hi, or earlier show you said that you wished for an Avro Manchester, but thought no one made one. If you look at Special Hobbies site, go down to Planet Models, and they do make a Mark 1 and a Mark 1A version. So there we go. And also he says Andy missed the trick on this one. There we go, look. A British desert-coloured, as in the stone scheme, X-Wing.
With shark mouth.
With a shark mouth. Absolutely.
There you go. Is that the right shade of azure blue, though?
Well, this is true.
Absolutely.
It's the $1 million question. Is that the right azure blue?
It's a question that we're not answering tonight.
Just going back to that Armour Hobbies thing, you know the cherry blossom thing on the teaser?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody's just put some up and I've lost it about it being the...
Yeah, it was actually.
The flying bob.
Hoka, is it?
Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
backer bomb.
Mm.
The thing, my argument with that is like, knowing Armour Hobbies, they need to get some mileage out of the moulds, and that was quite a... But,
Could be.
hey,
No.
it could be.
So was that suicide plane?
Yeah.
It looked like a V1 with a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got one at Yeovilton, haven't they? That hangs off the ceiling.
I wonder if it's going to be Frank or an Oscar.
Mm.
Yeah. It could. The cherry blossom might just be a generic Japanese thing, but they're just. Going back to that Planet Models Manchester,
Mm.
I think I'd still rather build the Bison.
Yes, that's the one.
Now, there's a challenge.
Mm.
That would be a tough call, I think. Do I order one out of morbid curiosity from Manchester?
Why, do you really want to build a Manchester?
I was going to say, Planet Models, that'll be a resin kit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've got one of Planet Models resin kits, and it's resin from I'd say 20 years ago, sort of standard.
You've got a Planet Models kit, haven't you? That
I've got a German thing. I can't quite see it, but it is very rustic.
John's got a yak.
I've got the Yak 23. It looks
That's all.
nice, actually.
That's really nice. That yak is.
Yeah.
That's really.
Is that the
quite
one you
nice
sold
kit.
him?
Yeah.
What do you mean I sold it?
Because I got it in for you, and then you sold it to John after he looked in the box.
It's got tulip decals with it, hasn't it, John?
Look at this Manchester.
It does look nice.
It is actually a nice
It
kit.
is nice
Like I
kit,
say,
yeah.
I don't know within Manchester and stuff, but yeah, it's, they do interesting stuff, don't they?
Yes. Oh, well, you say if you're into your resin stuff, you want to do a Manchester, there you go. That would be the one to go for then.
I'm going to be controversial and say it looks like they've taken bits of the Revell Lancaster and cast that.
Oh, that is controversial.
Judgely.
Okay, Christopher says, he goes, I'm curious about the Accurate Miniatures Academy Avenger that we showed on yesterday's PM show. Does the kit allow for wing fold option? Andy, quick, check yours. Because Andy's got the original.
Or does it?
I don't know. I can't remember. I saw the question earlier and I can't remember if it actually has it or not. I don't think
know,
it
actually,
did, but Andy's got the original. But it might take him a while to get it.
Shell, go and get it for him.
Shell.
I don't know if it does or not.
I'm going to give you a clue. Wolfpack Models do a wing fold set for it.
Ah, so that's usually a clue, but it doesn't
That's
then.
a clue that it doesn't yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry's just quickly asking, Tamiya or Rebel 148 bow fighter for beginner skill level?
Tamiya.
Yeah.
Tamiya all day.
Yeah.
That's a really, really, really nice kit.
Yeah. That's the golden era of Tamiya. That, the Mosquito, and those, they are great kits. All of those just go together very, very well.
And still a good price.
Yes.
Ain't gone through the roof.
The question there, when are we going to be able to buy the merch that you're wearing? It's on the site. It's not live yet, purely because I need to take a photo of the polo shirt that we're wearing, and Nathan's got on as well. Because Nathan's actually got the new one. Everybody else is wearing the old stuff. But yes, so well, apart from Matt, who's in the corporate colours of PM, which will be available soon. But yeah, no, it doesn't have a wing fold. So the Avenger doesn't have a wing fold in that kit. I didn't think it did. But yeah, so the merch stuff, I put it up on the site. Everything's up there, but I need to get a proper photo of the polo shirt. And seeing as I'm not model material these days, I need to get a backdrop for it and hang it on a hanger and take some photos of it because I haven't got a decent photo of it.
You need to buy a mannequin.
That's it. It's what you need is a mannequin. So, but yes, we will sort that out. But yeah, I will get it done probably tomorrow. I'd say I've just got to get me white backdrop out, take some photos of it and whatnot. So yeah.
I think you ought to put one on Molly and Lola and photograph
Well, this
them.
is it. I did say to Tams about modelling it and got a firm no. So, so all right, fair enough. Just because I said wear the small one, but you know, anyway. So yes, it will be up. I will get it sorted. It's halfway there anyway. Right, okay. I just saw another question here, but I can't remember. So yeah, Nathan, quick, give him a twirl in yours. We can use yours.
Mine's got that at the back.
Yeah, it's got the giant logo on the back. The polo shirt has a giant logo on the back. The t-shirt doesn't. T-shirt just has got one on the front. But yes, very good. And the aprons, well, you've seen those anyway. I've got one on this one. It's this one. So, yes.
That needs to go through the wash.
Yeah, that one definitely needs a wash. It's seen a lot of filler off of this. Right, okay, so where else are we? Clint says, have the team organised a turnout of the local chippy. Hey, what? Have the team organised a turnout at the local chippy soon. Happy birthday, Phil.
Perhaps it's for your birthday. We should have gone to the chippy.
We should have gone to the chippy. To be honest, I had a chippy tea yesterday, which is a bit naughty, I know, because I've been very good recently. But it was almost my birthday, so it counted.
Make the most of it, because they reckon fish and chips is going to go through the roof this year, because there's going to be a shortage of potatoes.
Is it? Not the fish, then?
Not the fish. Potatoes.
Oh, damn it. That's... Oh, dear.
Oh, no, that's it. Potatoes going up through the roof. That's all we need. Phil says, hi folks, in my adventures with Mr. Colour Levelling Thinner, I will soon be using it to thin Tamiya X22 gloss varnish to spray over decals. Is there anything I need to worry about? I'm worried that the thinners might eat into the decals. Cheers. Unless you've got it really wet, you wouldn't have to worry about it. And don't forget, lacquer thinners dries really quickly. So, you know, if you spray it on your model, it's dry within 10 seconds. So, you know, when you're putting down even a really thick wet coat of paint, it will be dry within a couple of minutes. So I wouldn't worry about it. You'll be absolutely fine. So if you're glossing with it, it'll be good. Any thoughts, guys?
Not really. I'd like you just said, just don't put it down really, really wet.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had any decals melt with.
No.
Even proper hot thinners that I've used before, I don't ever think I've had decals melt.
I've always found it a pretty foolproof combo, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, I must admit, as I say, I put down paint quite wet now, but thinners dry so quickly, it doesn't have time to eat in. If it's an airbrushed on, obviously if you brushed it on, that's a different matter. But from an airbrush point of view, because it dries so far, I must admit, use rapid drying thinners. And yeah, no, it's very, very good for that.
All right.
So yeah, you should be absolutely fine. Just don't brush it around with it, because otherwise that really will eat into it. Jeff says, hi team, not really a question, but I'd like to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day from the Emerald Isles. Oh, and happy birthday, Phil. I see it as being my special day, and I have done. So that's how I'm calling this one. But yes, and obviously we've got a nice little star. See, look, we should have had that as our opening screen.
Should have.
If only I thought. So, but yes, but no. Happy St. Patrick's Day to, as we were discussing earlier, all America and Ireland. But yes, I must admit, I've spent many a time in Dublin. When your birthday's on this, everyone's like, it's St. Patrick's Day on Saturday, we're going to Dublin for the weekend, and that's never was a good shout. So yes, but definitely a good one.
It's funny how on St. Patrick's Day everybody
becomes
Irish relatives,
yes.
Or great this,
I've got
that,
an
and the
Irish
other,
drop of blood in me.
Somewhere
there was someone.
Somewhere on the family tree, somebody visited Ireland for a,
Like you need an excuse. That's the thing. So
yeah,
never mind. Anyway, Andrew says, hi all. Thanks for the help about my. What's it called? Kitek flanker?
Yeah.
Kitech, as they call them? I don't know what they actually pronounce them as. Anyway, he says he's decided to have a go. I'm trying to look for new decals and a few bits for it. Also, happy birthday, Phil. I hope you had a lovely day. Thank you very much. I did. I was decaling in that, and I had lunch with my mum, so it was a nice day. But yes, no, good luck with that kit. As you say, with all kits, even the worst ones that are out there that are, look horrible and all the rest of it, you can beat them into submission. Even if you use it as more of a training thing of trying out new things, new techniques, because you might need a bit of filler in there, for instance. So you might want to try a new way of doing it and things like that. And you might surprise yourself. It's always nice to have a bit of a, what do you call them as teachers now? It used to be a baker's day in my day. Yeah, the one where you all skive off on a Monday and pretend you're training.
Teacher training days.
Oh, it's a teacher. Oh, you actually officially call them that now. Back in my day, it was also known as a baker's day, wasn't it? Because in the olden times, that's when the bakers used to experiment.
Is that what it is?
That's why they called it Baker's Day, because the baker would spend one day every now and again experimenting and playing with new recipes and ideas.
Go on, Dave.
I never knew that was what Baker's Day was about.
It's like Poets' Day, innit? On a Friday, innit? Friday afternoon, innit? Or something. Just an excuse to go to the pub and get hammered, innit? That's just me. It's funny how these teacher training days always come after a holiday.
Yes. Yeah.
Or just before holiday.
You just had a week off and then they have the teacher training day.
Yeah.
That is nice, isn't it?
Especially it's like the big holiday, in the summer, and then training day straight after.
First day back, sorry.
Can't fault you.
No, that's it.
21 years of teaching, I've never been to a good training day.
Oh, look, Kineticary, that was it, because John mentioned it. A new tool in the Gold series. What do you reckon it is?
Oh, God, that's even harder to guess than the Arm Robbers ones, isn't it?
I reckon it'll be the Fiat that they announced last year, but then pulled.
Oh, good.
The dodgy wing route thing.
Yeah.
G50.
The little Gina.
Yeah, is it G91 in that or something?
Yeah.
Do you reckon it will be all there?
Do you think it's their B17 they announced?
Oh.
Because they were going to do a Globemaster, weren't they?
Oh, the C17.
Yeah, C17.
When's that now? Is that tomorrow? That?
Oh, it'd be tomorrow, big day tomorrow then, isn't it, in the news? Obviously, Armour and Kinetic.
Yes.
It'd be interesting.
Alan's a good question about kit releases. Given that so many kits are made in China, we have so many Chinese brands, why are there only relatively small numbers of Chinese aircraft?
Because
they're not massively covered, are they?
I think you do some, don't they? You actually do the Chinese. Is it Trumpeter did
Trumpeter
some,
used to do them all. They did all their bombers and stuff as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did that Fierce Dragon, is it? Or something they called?
Yeah.
And
Something like that, yeah.
perhaps because, I don't know.
Because nobody wants to buy them.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, they're not the most popular subjects, are they? So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the thing is, they're never really featured in magazines much.
No.
Air Forces monthly. They never go to air shows.
Do you know what, Nathan? I was about to say that. You actually don't see a lot of them publicly. I think that's probably what it is. You got to say you don't see them outside of China.
If you're airfix and you get hold of the Chinese government and say, can we come and have a day routing over your latest spanking new stealth jet and take measurements, blah, blah, blah. You know what the answer's going to be, don't you?
Just tell us back it's 2/3 Eurofighter, 1/3 F-16.
Well, so the conspiracy theory of the day is, right, with the troubles that are going on in Ukraine, apparently a lot of the bombs being dropped, right, aren't armed, as in they're not been fused by the aircraft. So the conspiracy theory is that the Russian pilots don't want to bomb their own people, so to speak, with Ukraine troubles. So they're not mechanically arming the weapon from the aircraft. So you get a mechanical fuse, if you like, on the outside, which is removed by the ground crew when it takes off and all the rest of it. But there's an electronic fuse inside the aircraft as well that actually means when you release it, it arms from the aircraft and then goes bang on the ground. If you don't arm it, it just gets the ground like a concrete brick, right? So the conspiracy theory at the moment is it that the pilots have had so little training, they're forgetting to arm the weapon in the aircraft, so they do all the procedures, drop the bomb, and then it hits the ground and doesn't go off because the electronic fuse isn't armed? Or is it the pilots not wanting to arm them? But apparently there's a spate of bombs lying all over Ukraine which have never gone off because they haven't armed. So that's the conspiracy theory for today. Just put that one out there.
Not being funny though, if you're dropping that, even if it's not thinking it's going to come
It's
down,
still going to make a big
cause
hole,
a bit of damage,
but it's not going to make as much damage as if it was. But the conspiracy theory is that the people are saying it's because the Russian crews don't have enough training and they're forgetting to do it, which can happen. And I'm not going to go through it, but it happened very publicly during the first Gulf War to a certain pilot who then got shot down and captured. So that's the reason for that one. So it can happen even to, trained pilots and all the rest of it. But yeah, so a bit of a weird one, that one.
Yeah.
That's conspiracy theory of the day. So yes, but obviously Lynn says most of the aircraft that China flies are derivatives as well of Russian stuff, aren't they? So they tend to have their upgraded or self-upgraded versions of flankers and bits and pieces, don't they?
Yeah.
You can get that Chinese flanker, can't you? They're out there. It's just they're not.
He's not. Let's just say probably not very popular subjects in the West.
No.
Yeah.
To be honest, is it? Do you know what I mean? So.
In time, I'm sure they'll come through.
And to be fair, I think as well, they're not particularly exciting colour schemes, are they?
Grey.
They're all grey, yeah.
They're grey with a Chinese star on them, isn't it?
Yeah, but a Eurofighter's grey with a, everything's grey now. They're all boring.
Yeah, but at least with things like that, you get things like the Germans will do their special schemes and stuff like that, whereas you never see anything like that.
They are, to be fair to the Chinese sort of manufacturers, they are exporting them fairly widely now to like Pakistan. It's got that joint venture thing. African air forces are picking up Chinese stuff. As it is, so you might give it. It's one of those things. It just give it a few more years, and you know what'll happen? 5 companies will release the same thing within the space of 5 months, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is strange with all, as you think, obviously a lot of the Russian stuff was exported to China, then China sort of makes their versions again, don't they, of those? I wouldn't say they copy them because I think they're built under license in a lot of ways. So I think maybe that's what you could do a lot of yourself, isn't it? Just use the Russian stuff and
Just convert it,
put your PLA markings on it and do it that way. So
It's a cat I might build on that curiosity.
that's it. We need a Chinese SIG.
There is on my little list here because I've had a few messages off people. There is a Chinese themed potential. We've got a list like this long at the moment. Like there is one in the mix, something Chinese themed.
Cool.
We're on that later in the year.
Okay, so where are we? That's that one. Okay, Thomas says, happy birthday, Phil. Thank you very much. I've got Irish blood in me from my great-great-grandfather's side. Filthy. You can't do that joke. Right. He goes, not that I need a push to get down on the Guinness. Do you know what? Do anyone drink Guinness?
Yeah.
I know you do, because you're like weird. But
What's wrong with Guinness?
I might get a Guinness
God,
after this.
if I go on the Guinness, I am stuck in the toilet for the next 48 hours. Doesn't like me.
To me, it's like having a 3-course meal, a pint of it.
Yeah, it is
It's
heavy
just-
going, and it bungs me up.
It's hard going. It's just no. No.
I used to like Murphy's back in the day. What's because that was done by Guinness, wasn't it? Which was like a pale ale type thing version of Guinness. That was all right. I used to drink a lot of Murphy's, but that dried up because apparently a lack of sales, so they stopped it. So,
John likes stout, don't you, John?
yes.
Well, that's what Guinness is.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm just saying. You like stout, don't
Stout.
you?
Yes, that was nothing wrong with stout.
It's amazing how many things you can get, like stout and bitter and mild, and all these old school. You still get them all still.
I'll tell you what, a four pack of draft Guinness is really dangerous because that goes down far too easily.
Yeah, first pint just disappears in a flash, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's far too easy to drink.
I think I've told this tale. I was in Dublin and we went to the Guinness factory, and I went with quite a few friends of mine, and none of them drink it. They won't drink it at all. And when you do the tour, you start at the bottom, you work your way up to the top, right? They're giving you samples all the way through.
Right.
So consequently, I'm drinking everybody else's because they won't drink it. So by the time you get to the top bar, you're given a voucher and you can have another drink. And by the time because you learn how to pull a pint and all this like stuff, and you have a pint then, and you have a pint. So if you was to start yourself and didn't share or anything else like that, you probably have about 3 pints by the time you get to the top, right? And then you're given a voucher and you have a drink up at the bar at the top and all the rest of it. So I've drunk now something like 9 pints. And I feel ill. I mean, I'm proper like coming back to the hotel, and I must admit, got back to the hotel at about sort of 7 o'clock, and that was it. I was out for the evening. Leave me here. You go off, enjoy yourself. That's it. I was done. Not a good night.
That's drinking Guinness and drinking in the day.
Yeah, probably.
It's not a good mixture, is it, Phil?
No, it's not. That's when you don't eat either.
No.
You'd think I'd learn this trick, but I never do. Anyway, it says, a question before I destroy something. How was it again of using enamel washes over acrylic paints and with Future? Okay, so if you're using enamel washes over any like acrylic paints and that, you are totally safe because it is. But if you've got, say, although this is going to be controversial now, but if you've got extreme metals, for instance, you can't put enamel washes over them because they will attach themselves to the other enamels because it will rehydrate it. So, but this could be false information by the time you read this, if you're reading this, because me and Matt have been in conversations about this very subject.
Yes, with a member today. Yes,
Yeah.
we're not 100% sure. When we got some more info, we will mention this on a PM show. Put it that way, I think.
But we're trying to get all our ducks in a row and find out some correct information about this. But when we do, we will let the world know because everyone needs to know it. But yeah, so you're fine. But if you want to protect your paintwork and all the rest of it, then obviously if you put down an acrylic coat or a lacquer coat, or a coat of Future, you'll be fine because the enamels in theory can't penetrate through it to get to anything nasty. But yeah, no, you should be absolutely fine. And Matt was doing his thing about pin washes yesterday. Did you have a protective coat between your paintwork and your pin washes?
No,
straight in.
No, I don't bother. No, as long as it's all dry, it's you're not going to react to anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only way it reacts is, or you could react is if you've got lacquer thinners where it just burns straight through it. But even enamels on enamels, if it's dry, you won't get it back off. It's like concrete, you know what I mean? It's proper rock hard. So you need some Tolly Cobnut, Phil.
Who? Some what?
Some Tolly Cobnut.
What the hell's that?
I was just reading that.
What is Tommy Cobnut? What's that?
Tolly Cobnut.
Right. And what
It's
is
a
it?
locally brewed ale, apparently, near Nigel.
About 40 years ago.
From 40 years ago. In fact, I don't need that. That might give you a different story.
We're drinking that anymore.
Yeah.
It's a good name, though, isn't it? Tolly Cobnut. Sounds like an RAF pilot from the Battle of Britain.
Yes, that's
Doesn't
it?
it?
Yeah, it does actually.
Like Sergeant Polly Cobnut.
Yeah, exactly. Tally-ho, bravo.
No, I must admit, for me from drinking, as I'm getting older, I'm finding my spectrum of what I drink shrinking. Am I the only one? So whereas before, when I was young, literally, if it's meths, it'll do, And then as I'm getting older, I'm finding that I like gin. So I like my gins, and I like lager, but I don't go near other drinks like I used to. Like occasionally I might have a scotch, if I'm being polite, society, finger out and everything.
Scotch.
Have a scotch.
Check you a scotch.
But I'll push to do that. So, but yeah, am I the only one, or you lot still drink anything you can get your hand on? Bearing in mind, I've got the evidence in my cupboard in the kitchen.
I'd like to say...
To be honest, cider's the only thing I can drink now that doesn't give me raging indigestion in the night.
This is like the old people hour, isn't it?
Well, this
God,
is it
yeah.
now. Don't forget, Nate, you're the youngest of the team. You're going to be carrying us around or pushing us. So
I'd to say I've got more sensible in my old age, but I will say if you get those bottles out of your cupboard at a barbecue, I will drink anything.
that's
my
proving it.
argument with this is there's a level of drinking where all that theory goes out the window, because like Nathan's just said, crack the cupboard open, we'll try this and we'll try this, because you're at that stage of the evening where you're not that bothered anymore.
But and also there is that thing that I remember in the barbecues from like 10 years ago, we'd be up till 3-4 in the morning and seeing the sun come up. Nowadays, everyone's like, 10:30, cool, past my bedtime. Everyone's tucked up by 11 o'clock.
Yeah. We just, where did it all go wrong?
That's it. But yes. So anyway, how are we doing in chat? Everybody good?
Yeah, everybody's good. Just saying we're old and past it.
That's it. Pensioner corner. This is it now. It's all downhill.
Pretty much correct.
I think we've reduced it to having sherry or Twining's tea. That's when you know you're old. There you go.
Yeah, you know it's old for your last drink of the evening. It's a nice cuppa. You know that's it then. You know.
Yeah, but then you're up half the night going to the toilet because you've just gone to bed. So how's that theory work? See, John's on his limoncello, whatever it is, and he'll have a restless night now.
Yes. Right, okay. Next question. Oh, look, it's about extreme metals. Here we go. This is from Paul. He says that he's building the 48 scale P51, which is going to be in the natural metal finish for the first time with the black and white invasion stripes. I'm not sure which would be the best sequence of colours for spraying. I was going to do it this way. So anyway, he's talking about AK Extreme Metals for the polished aluminium, AK Lacquer aluminium for the wings, AK Lacquer white, AK Lacquer black, and then Extreme Metal aluminium on selected panels. Pretty much, but the big thing is let it dry. Put it on quite thin because it will dry quicker because you need to mask it. And masking over extreme metals, it has to be totally dry and cured. You know, I've proven this a million times. I've had conversations with people who never believe me, even though I've shown it live, about being able to mask over extreme metals and things like that. As long as it's thin coats and you let it dry, it's absolutely hard as nails. If it's soft, as we've proven on this show with various things, Andy had a soft one, didn't he? It doesn't dry ever. And that way it will leave marks and peels and all the rest of it. What you might want to do is get a bit of a get out. Do the white panels for the wings first, spray them, right? Then you could even do your black stripes onto those and then mask those panels of the wings, then do all your metal stuff afterwards. Because the only trouble I find that if you're doing anything with metals, the overspray travels further than any other type of paint and it will show up on everything. So if you've got those masked up and done and out of the way, you should be absolutely fine with it. But it depends which way. But technically what you've said there is the way I would do it.
Yeah, I think so. I have to agree with that. It's. I wonder if what you've just said is perhaps the switch.
What, do the paintwork, mask it off then?
No, with the metals.
Mm.
Without earlier conversation.
We're going to have to tell them because everyone's going to be trying to second guess what we're on about here.
Yeah, next Wednesday we'll tell them.
Join us next week and we'll tell you this secret that no one knows apart from, Right, okay, so what we're talking about at the moment, you know we had a little bit of problems with AK Extreme Metal paints. If you try and mix them, some of them mix beautifully, other times they turn to glue. So I've given up now trying to mix extreme metals, but every bottle of extreme metals I have here, it clearly states on the label that it's an enamel. But it's been brought to our attention by one of our very good members who's recently bought some, that some of them say they're lacquers and some of them say they're enamels. So it's pot luck on which type it is. So obviously if you're spraying enamels, as we know enamels take a little bit longer to dry, and there's a few little tweaks with them you can do with it, and obviously we're talking about enamel washes as well, but they're the flip side. If they're switching it to lacquers, are they all going to be lacquers and we're just halfway through AK not telling us? Or is it that some of them, because it appears to be the black base is a lacquer, isn't it? And it's the aluminiums?
I can't remember. No, actually it wasn't. It wasn't what I thought.
Oh.
But I ain't got the thing up, so I can't tell you what's what. But there's only like 4 out of all the range that were lacquers. I don't know if one was burnt metal or pale burnt metal. I can't remember.
Right.
I think, like I say, I'll have a look at the at the paint rack, and then we'll discuss it next Wednesday of what.
But we need to do a little bit of homework, and I'll try and get hold of AK as well and that, and I'll have a word with them in there. But the thing is, if you look at the label on them, it says on them, yeah, I've got my glasses on, high quality enamel.
Yeah, I've got it. There is an easy way to tell the difference.
Right.
If the writing of the ingredients is that way on,
Yeah.
it says it's an enamel product.
Right.
So the copper that I've got here is enamel.
Yeah.
If the ingredients are listed to read it that way up,
Right.
because this black base is a lacquer and so is this chrome.
Oh.
But these ones matter from the ones you gave me from like Spillage.
Right, yeah, from them ones that got damaged
Yeah.
through that delivery with the one that smashed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those.
John's woken up. Hey, welcome back, John.
So this one, the C3PO colour
Yeah.
is enamel.
So yeah, and I've got chrome here, and it's enamel, and I've got the
This
black base
chrome
because we were
lacquer.
talking about earlier. This black base here says it's enamel.
So
So at some point then they've switched it. So there you go. Nathan's twigged it. If the writing is one way, it's in a lacquer, and if it's the other way, it's in enamel.
it just said high quality lacquer paint, and then this one says high quality enamel paint. Cheeky.
So what we need to know is, as a company, if they are sticking with the enamels,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously there is lacquer in the range, we're going to have to put up on the site, obviously, which are
Which is
lacquers
his, yeah.
and which aren't. But at the minute, we don't know what
But
they're
I bet
doing.
my black base is lacquer and Phil's is enamel. I bet you've got
The thing
one.
is, though, right? Sorry, Nate. Just thinking aloud. Obviously, when we had that delivery in not that long ago, we had a lot of other colours in,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously Nathan's got them there. So some are enamels and some's lacquer. So I'm wondering if sort of the chrome. I wonder if they switched the black base out because it took
was
ages
horrible,
to dry.
yeah,
It wasn't
it
great,
wasn't
and obviously
nice.
being a lacquer, I tell you what, if that's lacquer now, that'll be a
It
cracking
will be
paint.
really good, yeah.
That will be epic.
Yeah.
And what other colours they are doing, perhaps there's a reason they have made
Switched
them from
it.
what they was to, because there were problems with them. You know, it could, I don't know. A bit of info would be.
Again, the thing is, we
Good.
haven't been told anything from a PM point of
No.
view, and I haven't seen anything on social media that they were switching or changing. My worry is, I'm not being funny, we've just had a huge restock at PM, and it's all over the place by the look of it. And in theory, we don't want to be, if it's all changing over to lacquers, then as I say, we need to let people know what it is from when we sell it. So
A bit odd, isn't it?
we're a little
Yeah, I
bit
mean,
up in
Dirk's
the air.
put
This
up
has
the-
only brought to our attention literally this morning, so we're still trying to work it out.
Dirk's put up. He's got a burnt metal, and that's an enamel.
Mm-hmm.
It's high quality enamel, but I can't remember what thingy today. It was one that either the burnt metal or jet. I can't remember with that. Obviously, I'm not at work, so I can't see. So, yeah, look, Dirk's got 12 different AKs. They still rate, but yours say all enamels as well, don't they?
Yeah, all of
It
mine
seems
are
with the
enamels.
newer stuff. So if you've had them for a while, I think they are all the enamels. So
Mhm.
it's
all
literally
of
the
mine.
last batch.
All of mine seem to be enamels, but I managed to find a chrome, which I think is one you gave me because there's dried paint all over it, and that says lacquer.
All right. So at some point they've switched them out. As I say, a lot of the guys on the chat here, they're saying theirs all say enamel. So I think this is a new thing. As I say, we only took a restock last week.
Just have a look at something. You know the ones that says lacquer, Nathan, and ones that says they've got a different label on them.
Yeah, they've got the labels are different because I don't hold up the camera.
Are
You
they
go.
different coloured labels as well, though?
I mean, these have got the lacquer one's got massive safety symbols on it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
caution and flammable. These are all the enamel one has got a much smaller.
Just got the little one.
Has
Yeah.
it just got the little X on it?
It's got the same. It's got the same like health and safety symbols on it.
I think the little X is the really original ones because I've got those and all of mine got the little X on.
original.
Well, these are both from the stock that got spoilt in shipping.
Yeah.
But yeah, the labels, there's nothing screaming at you. One's enamel and one's lacquer, apart from some tiny writing. But I wonder, it's something to keep an eye on, isn't it? The newer style label with all the text inverted sort of is lacquer. But I mean, I don't have batch numbers or anything. It's a bit weird. Why have they done it by stealth? Why wouldn't they just?
Yeah,
put
this is it. No, Dirk, it looks like all the originals were always enamels. That's what they were claiming all the way through. The botched original ones, that was a manufacturing fault. which they admitted to and all the rest of it. But it just seems to be the range that we got in last week, and no one's mentioned it to us. Some of them that we had in on restock were enamels and some are lacquers. As I say, we need to work it out what is which.
That's right.
Or whether they are actually switching them over to all lacquers.
If they're going to move to all lacquers.
Yeah, because these are some of the original batch ones, and they're enamels. Hey, well, I don't know. It's the mystery.
It is. Very much a bit of a mystery on that one. But anyway, thank you for clearing that up, Nath, because that's helped actually, because at least we know from the labels how to spot it.
It's just an easier way of spotting it, trying to read something that's in font size 2. So small the font. But, yeah.
Quick one there from Adam. He says, what would be the best acrylic varnish for metals?
For metals?
Acrylic varnish.
Ooh.
To flat it or gloss it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a good point, yeah. Adam, do you want it as a gloss, a semi, or a flat? Will you stop that at the back? No sniggering.
Oh dear. One week we will get through a show without some smut.
Get sniffing, Nath. We need your powers of nose.
Right, one lacquer, one enamel.
Right, hold on. We're having a quick sniff test where Adam hopefully tells us if he wants a flat, a semi, or a glossy one. John, stop sniggering.
Smells.
He wants to keep it shiny.
Of course he does.
The lacquer one does not smell of lacquer because it's so heavily perfumed.
Oh, what's it smell of then?
You can smell it. It's got like.
Does it smell of pear drops? It's got acetone in it.
Smells of cherry lips.
It smells like the sort of cheap woman you pull in a kebab shop.
Pardon?
That's no way to speak.
It just smells of very. It smells like cleaning product.
I don't normally get close enough to sniff them.
The enamel one stinks. The lacquer one smells it's perfume.
Smells fruity.
It's got a perfume in it.
Doesn't smell like lacquer. It smells like TCP. I'm going to say it smells like something.
See?
Smells medicinal. Smells medical, the lacquer one.
Oh, dark aluminium, that was the other one. Yeah, look, Paul's put some up.
Yeah,
two of which are dark aluminium. One is enamel and the other is lacquer.
So, Paul, how long have you had those? Is one of those a newish one? You'll say, yeah, I bought it from PM.
yeah. He bought it last week from PM or something. I bet he did. So the AK thinner won't work on the new lacquers. The AK thinner, I think, will work on the lacquer because that is pretty. Are you on about like the?
It's like Rustington's. That is.
It's strong
cleaner.
stuff.
You mean this stuff?
Don't forget as well. Lacquer thinners works with enamels.
Yeah.
It's just if you're mixing enamel paint with lacquer paints, that's when it don't like each other. But actually, enamel paints work better with lacquer thinner because they dry faster.
Not bloody drinking them. I'm gonna use the black base on my silver Tempest. If we're gonna just jump the gun a bit, if I'm gonna do a flat varnish, this is water-based acrylic varnish, and it's the extra acrylics one. I can't. Because I've never
used product placement, but I actually quite like this as a water-based.
Right, hold them both there, and I'll get you both in camera. So, what's the part number of that one, Nate?
This is extra acrylics XAFF, but I can't recommend their gloss one because I've never used it.
No, their matte one's good actually. I used to use that.
Yeah, I used to use that all the time.
When it comes to varnish, I'm like sticking with the old stuff because I know how it works.
Do you know what that stuff's good for that Nathan's got sticking on canopies?
Yeah, it is like a thick PVA glue.
It is. Right.
And your one, Matt?
That's the matte one, but they do the satin and the gloss. The satin's good, the matte's good. I've never tried the gloss yet because, to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of gloss acrylics at all. I'll be honest. I think they're a bit of a false economy because they just turn satin anyway. I don't know. They just don't seem to. Perhaps it's me, but they don't work for me. But these two are really quite nice. I've got the satin one up there, so not to think. I've had no problems with them. So
So to answer that quick question, somebody said about which is better. John says which is better. To be honest, until we get the lacquer one and have a play with it, 'cause if it's gone into lacquer, it's probably going to be the same as what MRP do, or what was that other one?
Super metallic range, isn't it?
Yeah, no, the other lacquer one that the little hold on, I've got a bottle here somewhere. Honest, the tiny small bottles. Yeah, Alclad.
Oh, Alclad. Yeah.
So it'll probably be along the lines of that, which, to be honest, isn't a problem. The reason I liked Extreme Metals, though, is that when you were putting it down, it was very forgiving. You could actually just get away with just chucking it down. It didn't matter if it was on thick or thin, but Extreme Metals, MRP and the others, you've got to build them up quite lightly. If you flood it on, it doesn't really like it. So you just have to take your time and build it up very lightly. So you might just do 2 or 3 very light coats and it will cover beautifully and look fantastic. But the nice thing with Extreme Metals was that you could literally just chuck it on and it just worked every time. But that was so I think we'll may have to do a quick on test with the new ones.
I'll bring some down then, shall I?
Yes, bring some down and we'll do a quick side-by-side comparison.
I'll have a look. Paul did get it from us.
Yeah.
Within the last few months, and then Andy Preston's put, would lacquer thinners work with Humber enamels? Yes, because I've done it, and I think Nathan has as well, ain't you, Nathan?
Yeah.
Just now.
And I've done it as well, and it works really well with rapid thinners because it dries really quick.
That's what I've just done, and it then give it a good mix, and you're all right.
Just thinking, because David's tried using Mr. Metal, the buffer balls for an airbrush, they don't like it.
No. Yeah, now I can speak for that because I did, what I've done with them, my nozzles are sprayed, and I didn't bother videoing it because it was like a 2-minute job to do it. But my nozzles that I did here, that I sprayed it on, again, it's that thing. If you get the thick stuff off the bottom, you have to imagine the pigment is really, really heavy on this stuff. So if you're one of these people who just takes a little bit off the top, you're taking literally the lacquery stuff, you'll be left with coal tar really at the bottom. That will never spray. So if you've got a brand new bottle, you need to thoroughly mix it. It'll either get a mixer into it or a brush. Shaking it won't break it off the bottom particularly well. Then it will spray. But I've done it before and I'm guilty of it, and I've got older bottles here where literally you just unscrew it, put the brush in and do it after a quick shake. What happens is when you're down to half a bottle, it's really thick. I mean proper chunky stuff, and that won't airbrush at all. But I managed to airbrush this. So this one was dark 214 and then it's 213 stainless on for the exhausts, and they came out really, really nicely.
Can you remember the Humber tins of the brushable bufferable stuff? Yeah, I've still got some in my old tins of paint. I don't think that was bad stuff, to be honest.
I don't think it was. I think this stuff, when it came along, I remember giving this by MDC back in the day. He gave me a couple of bottles, said, play with this, come back, tell me what it's like. And it was brilliant. I really, it just worked. You could brush it on, you can put it in through an airbrush, and it's really strong stuff. Once it's on, you can't rub through it. Well, not easily. You can actually handle it without any fear. And obviously, once you've buffed it like these, I must admit, I buffed them with a cloth. They don't come off that much. It still will come off, but nothing like other products, shall we say, do. So yes.
Yeah. There you go. Always use lacquer thinner with Humber enamels. It does actually work, and it does make them dry quicker as well.
Yes.
Have you tried it with extra colour, Nave? He's muted, look, because he's
spraying
now. Look.
I'll tell you what, that would be a really good test to do, to try rapid drying lacquer thinners with extra paints enamels, because they would notoriously used to take a couple of weeks to dry. It'd be interesting to see how quickly they dry, because they used to be some really good colours.
I wonder if they'll lose the sheen, because they're really, really glossy, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all a gloss.
Don't know.
Carl says it works with extra colour.
That's Humber sprayed with
Can't do
rapid.
that. You need that kit. You'll need that for the Easter build.
It's gone flat already, so I'd say, do I dare touch it? And I've literally just sprayed there.
God, give it a little.
it's not instantly touch dry like any other paint, but I reckon that looks like it'd be dry within an hour. But it's not handleable because it's getting footprints in it.
Have you got any extra colour?
I'm going to spray extra colour next, if I can find any.
Right, just while you're sorting out, there's a question here for you, Nate, from Nick. He says he's just got himself a 32nd scale Italeri Tornado and wanted to know what extras he should get for it. And also, what is the best reference book? I can do the reference book one. You tell him what he needs for it. I'll get him the book.
Nathan's muted. You're muted, Nath. You're muted.
You're muted.
He's talking, but he's muted.
Lips are moving.
Anybody want to know about 30 scale tornadoes? I'm going to scream it. I'd speak to Phil Fisk because he built them.
I was to say, Phil's in chat and he's
I've never built them, so I wouldn't like to say.
built a flipping squadron of them.
Yeah. So there are. I don't know, but I've not really. I can't say without having built it. But I've said before, Humbrol paint sprayed with rapid thinners is really, really flat. So just, I'm sure Phil won't remind. That book is amazing. You can get it. Right, light grey. Extra.
And also you get a pull-out, which is scale drawings for it as well. So you know where all your rivets are.
Get riveting.
And all your bits. As I say, this book here is by Fox 2, is it? Yes. Fox 2.
That's the stuff. Umbral metal coat. That's what it was called, isn't it? That buffable stuff.
And at the back you get all the colours. I'm trying to do this without dropping it on my Hornet. Yeah, you get all the colour call-outs.
Yeah, it's good for your German tornadoes.
For your German tornado. Say that's the German one, but it's good for any type of tornado for walk-around purposes. And as I say, they also do one on the Harrier. I've got quite a few of them, to be honest.
Right.
Phil says all you need really is Aries seat and Fito from Master.
And wheel wells, new weapons, new wheels, new intakes, because intakes are rubbish. And a mass set. There is a plus models, because somebody's asking about a tractor for towing tanks. Well, I think plus models do a resin tractor. I think it's plus. Somebody does one. A sort of that kind of tractor, because I think Andy mentioned Azagawa and somebody else has, but they're like proper Hitachi heavy duty stuff. We're on about farm tractors, like a Massey Ferguson or whatever. There is a company that does a resin tractor, proper one. And I can't think who it is. It could be, like I say, it might be Plus Model.
Pass.
Everybody's gone quiet.
Okay. Next question is from Paul. It says, evening all. A question related to spray booths and extractors. I currently have a generic portable spray booth similar to this. I'm sure we've got a link in there. Which seems to do the job well enough with a hose dangling out the window. The issue that I have is that my man cave is directly below my youngest daughter's bedroom. And the noise from the spray booth, which is supposedly 47 decibels, is more than loud enough to wake her up and keep it that way. This stops me from being able to spray in the evenings, and this gets the majority of the modelling time. It generally uses Mr. Hobby and MIG paints and don't want to spray without the extraction, even when wearing a mask. Does the team has any potentially quieter solutions?
I've got one. Youngest is going to have to go, isn't she? Yeah. Or swap the youngest for the oldest, and then she can just deal with the noise.
Earplugs.
You what?
Earplugs.
Earplugs, yeah.
Cowpole 7 Plus. To be honest with you, we may joke that's a difficult one because all extractors by their nature are pretty noisy, and the trouble you have, the louder they are, the better they are, because it's pulling more air. The mechanics of how a fan works and all the rest of it, we often talk about compressors and stuff, but when you're shifting volumes of air, it's going to make a noise. It's very, very difficult to get around it. As I say, Matt's the expert on the industrial versions, but they are very, very noisy when they're up and running.
They are really noisy. But I think you've got to think as well, it's not just that, but your compressor's going to be running as well, isn't it? So you've got double whammy there. So, perhaps you need a shed.
You're out to the shed. Being honest, I can't honestly see a way round because a quiet one probably won't have much pull. No. That's the trouble. You're not going to be drawing that mass air flow through and all the rest of it.
And going, at least he's got his extractor going outside. If you've got no extractor going, you're going to do more damage to your kids with that stuff hanging around in the house than the noise your extractor's making, filtering it out of the house. So, you need an extractor 100%. It's going to stink. So you're in a bit of a conundrum there, aren't you, really?
Even the noise of air shifting through like my pipe system, because I've got like 45s and there's a couple of 90s in there as well with these bends. As it comes up, it generates noise, just air going through it, let alone the fan. The fan itself is probably not that noisy. A lot of it is just literally the sound of the air shifting through the system. So and unfortunately it is that thing. I probably, from my old air conditioning days, the slower the pull, the quieter it will be, but then you're sort of defeating to the object of it. You really want something that gets it out. So especially if you're doing a bit of painting, it's getting, as you say, hopefully around about 80% of everything out of your atmosphere, so difficult. It's one of those ones that I don't think there's a win, as you say, unfortunately it is that thing. I know a lot of us talk about compressors being noisy and all the rest of it, but I can't hear my compressor over my fan. So
Mr. Molyneux says he can recommend a silent compressor. It's a shame he hadn't gone out and bought one, really, isn't it?
To be honest, his extractor's pretty quiet 'cause he never turns it on.
Mine was silent when I was spraying just then.
Yes, you just mute.
In answer to the question on extra acrylic enamels, with rapid thinners, they're still glossy.
Right, well that's good then.
Dry them. As far as drying times, you're going to have to ask me next week. Because it's behaving like enamel paint. It's really sticky.
Right.
So it's not drying off. Like the Humbrol one, it's not touch dry any stretch of the imagination. So the enamels still take longer to dry. But the extra acrylic one is really still wet. That makes sense.
Yes. Not nice. Okay, right, couple more questions. This is from Stephen. He says, does the team have any good recommendations for the correct paint colour? Oh my god, oh no, F35 or the F35C in lacquer paints. Also, okay, so let's do that bit first. So recommendations for it. I can highly recommend MRP's. They do like a 2-pack system. So, but don't use the second bit, the sparkly bit. The normal colour is pretty good. It's what I used on my F16 because it's that have blue, they call it, whatever it is.
Have glass,
that's the one, 5. And that's apparently what they all are using now, 5 and 6 formula. So that's not bad. And also, Attackers one, they do one as well, don't they, if I remember rightly?
They do.
Yeah, don't AK do an half glass?
Yeah, but I haven't tried that.
They're real colours. I don't know now I've said that. Don't think they do. It's one of them colours that have glass that's hard to replicate in miniature.
Yeah. Because
probably like you said, I bet MRP's is probably the best one to use.
The MRP one I used on here, I think it was as well. So obviously it's the same type of thing. When we did this one,
yes,
obviously it's got the oils on it and all the rest of it. This is my quick build. And to be honest, I thought it was quite accurate. I thought it looks the part. It's got quite a sheen to it. But this is without using the two-part thing of it. There's a video build of it. You can see it off in here. I don't know if I've got the colours used. Yeah, I used it at the MRP on this one. Then we went over it with oils.
Which was it? The F16 you swapped it out because you didn't like the Attacker one?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was, or was it this one? I didn't like the colour. One of them we tried the Attacker, and I just wasn't happy with the colour it was. It just didn't look right to me. It just didn't sit. So I swapped it out and we redid it. So where's the F16? F16 is here somewhere. F16, there it is. So the F16 I did with that, as you can see, it's in here.
There you go. Phil has put up AK do a have glass. Don't know what it's like though.
Yeah, I've never tried
RC345. There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, this is this one, and I thought it was a very nice representation of it. It seems to be the best one I like anyway. It's one of those weird colours. It's very difficult to nail it down. But the MRP one is, I think, the nicest one out of the bunch. But as I say, I'd like to try the AK one. We'll try it. We'll build something that needs it. So
yeah.
It says also, so you can get the sheen over them both. That's it. So he says he's also got both the Kitty Hawk kits. Read your instructions, take them with a pinch of salt, then do it again.
Yeah, build it your own way.
Their numbers are all out on that kit. It's terrible. After looking at them, it will take more effort than one that I think on the newer kits process. The thing is, don't forget, if you wanted to do especially a C, the US Navy's one, that's the only kit that's out at the moment. A, you've got a couple of other options. Meng do it in 48th. Who else does it? There's 3, isn't there?
In 48, Academy do it in 72nd, don't they?
Yeah. Classic now do it in 72nd.
Yeah.
I can't think. Somebody else does it. It's Meng, somebody else, and Kitty Hawk. 3 companies did it in 48th. Quick chat. Help me out. I'm drowning.
Yeah, I can't think.
Somebody else does it, but I can't think of who it is.
48.
In 48 scale, yeah.
Not Italy, because theirs is 32nd and 72nd, isn't it?
Somebody else, I'm sure, does a F-35. Don't know. I've lost it.
Oh, I think you do it. I Love Kit.
Not Academy, is it? Something like that.
I'm sure somebody else does it.
F-35.
No one's in chat's helping me out.
They're all Googling.
Yeah, they're all Googling. Yeah.
138 scale F-35. Kitty Hawk Meng.
I'm sure somebody else does an F-35A.
Excuse me. Hey, you need one of them naily things for when you're sanding. I've seen my guy in Korea use that, and I wondered what it was, and it's for acrylic nails, isn't it, and catching the dust.
Oh, is that what on the screen?
Yeah.
Oh, right,
Krista's put up.
Right.
It's got a filter. Aha, that's what it is. Of course it is. It's a nail.
Oh, you use your hairdryer? You hook it up to a hairdryer, do you? That one Chris has put up, it says use a hairdryer to blow it, but do not wash it. Oh, perhaps that's for the filter.
Yeah, I think so. That just plugs in, and obviously it's like it must have some filter in it to catch all the rubbish. I wonder if it's good for resin. You know, when you're doing your resin and
sanding your resin, catch all your crap on that, which you probably would, because if it does it for nail beauty things.
Well, that's what that is, isn't it? Acrylic resins, isn't it? So, and obviously that stuff's not good to breathe in either. So
no, definitely not.
Ooh,
might have to have a look at that.
Get on Amazon, get us one, Phil, quick.
Bulk order for Amazon.
Bulk order.
Okay, so so that's assumed that I'm dreaming it, because I probably am. So, the Meng F-35's got really raised detail. It's too raised for me.
Meng York, that's it. That's all that's coming up on the old Google. Academy have done a 72 scale one.
Yeah.
Panda, I love. That's F-35B. I think Mengen. Is it? Mengen Kitty Hawk.
Is it true they can't fire the gun on the F-35 now as the latest thing? Because apparently it's cracking the aircraft up. And it doesn't shoot straight.
Yeah.
Apparently. The gun pod, it has a separate gun that can go underneath in a pod underneath it. That's all right, but apparently it can't shoot straight. It's literally all over the place because it can't control the recoil, and it's causing cracking in the airframe. So, oh god, another thing.
Is it piloted by stormtroopers?
You probably apparently it had an upgrade the other day, so it makes you wonder. You know when you get like an upgrade for your phone? Well, apparently that's now what happens with the F-35. So they've all gone to a new block thing. Can you imagine like the fault reports coming back? You know, it won't work now because this has changed and this has changed. But they've just gone up in a block version this week or this month or something. So it's like, okay. But yeah, I think they found problems with the gun. The gun's having trouble or something.
Do they still fly Raptors?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't hear anything about them anymore.
Well, because the F-35 is more trouble. Because they used to blame the F-22 for everything, wouldn't it? So, but got something else to talk about now, so they just blame the F-35 for everything.
Because that's a very underrepresented kit, isn't it?
Yeah, because I built the Hasegawa one. No, I built the Academy one, which I prefer over the Hasegawa one, because again, they've done the raised RAM stuff, and it's massive, it's overdone. And that was the only two that came out in 48th. Didn't Ravel do it in 72nd?
Hey.
Hey?
What is that, an F something?
An F-22.
Yeah.
Another one of those aircraft that just don't see it out and about much. We don't see it in the UK very often at all, do we?
No.
When it came to Riyadh, is that the one that wouldn't take off in the clouds?
Yeah.
I see. That got to get one of them Mealy things.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's 20 quid off of thingy, isn't it? So I just
Amazon's
got them for 20 quid.
There you go. Interesting. Any more questions?
Okay, yes. Okay, this is the last question from Keith. He says, happy birthday, Phil. So I now have managed to get a proper modelling area set up in his garage with a portable spray booth. It's actually a large lump, so it's not that portable. Probably a good one then. I'm toying with dipping my toes into the world of lacquers and were wondering what you would recommend to start off with. To date that he's used Tamiya and Vallejo acrylics. I'm pretty happy with the results, but I really like the idea of some lacquers, especially the drying times. He says he's got the Revell 72nd Millennium Falcon in the stash, as well as the Space Shuttle and some armour. I can't work out whether to go down the Tamiya or Attacker route. With other colours, what would you recommend? The trouble is, don't forget with Tamiya, it's a limited range. Their lacquers are more car colours, would you agree? Than
I don't know now.
military?
They're more car, ship and armour than aircraft. They do the ghost greys.
They do the ghost greys, yeah.
When they're in stock, and insignia white, and obviously the standard. It's a standard Tamiya range, but. He's doing sci-fi anyway, so it doesn't make a lot of difference, does it? No.
I think, honestly, if you want to test it out, don't forget, you could try with lacquer thinners into your Tamiya paints at the moment. Not your Vallejos, but you can just put lacquers, use the lacquer thinners, because you'll get the benefits of a lacquer paint then, because don't forget, Tamiya's is a hybrid, it's technically an alcohol-based paint. So, that's the thing, it can thin. You can't put it in Vallejo, because Vallejo is technically a true acrylic, and it will turn to glue, unless you over-thin it. But that would be it. The other way as well, if you wanted to sort of make the halfway step, and I'm doing it because I love the stuff, it just works, is lacquer paint. So I use rapid drying thinners with real colour. And to me, that works really well, So if you wanted to go sort of half and half with it, and obviously Hataka's just so straightforward to use. It's just idiot proof. You put it in, it's very forgiving. You can't over thin it, you can't under thin it. Real colours, to be honest, I think are harder to get the balance right of your paint, because if you don't thin real colours enough, everything goes flat. Your paintwork just looks flat, and you can hear it in your airbrush. It starts to struggle, so you have to put in like 70% thinners into it. Then you get a nice, like we got down in here, glossy finish to your paintwork. But before you get to that level, it's always going to be flat. Where with Hataka, it seems to be quite a nice satin finish if you don't thin it enough, and then if you put a little bit more in, it goes glossy. So it's interesting stuff, really. That's just my personal findings, clearly. But yeah.
But it is, isn't it? We know with lacquers you've got to really thin them to get a nice finish.
Yeah.
What John was going to say and what you've just said, I would stick with your Tamiya XF X range, thin it with lacquer thinners, and they work fantastic. They're really nice, and you'll get a feel for it and see if you like the smell or not as well, because they stinky. Don't forget a mask.
Yeah.
Safety gear is essential.
Yeah. You know, but the thing is, I think but when you go into the lacquers and you sort of peek into that little rabbit hole of it, it's very easy to get drawn in, because I still maintain there's so many pros over using lacquers. It dries quicker, it's harder, it gives a better finish. You don't get tip dry, you never get clogging and spitting and all the stuff you get with acrylics and all the rest of it. Yes, it's a little bit more smelly at the end of the day, but as a good friend, well, it's not a good friend, a guy I know who is a lung person points out to me, he literally has always said to me, just because you can't smell it doesn't mean it's not going in your lungs. You're breathing in particles, and it's those particles which will be damaging your lungs. And it doesn't matter if it's acrylic paint or if it's lacquer paint and everything in between. It's those particles that are doing the damage. Just because you can't smell it doesn't make it better. So, you know, that's why always safety first. You should wear a respirator even if you've got a double X-ray booth. You can see me now because I've got my new camera angle. Hope you like the new camera angle. No one's mentioned it. But it's got the new camera angle. You can see me. And I have the respirator on for anything over a small little job. If it's a quick job, I won't bother. I just whack the extractors on. But if it's a big job, then obviously the mask goes on. You know, they've got the big twin one, wherever it is. I've lost it. Oh no, it's in here now. I've got a new home for it. You know, and we must be due for a filter change soon. It's been 3 years. No, but you know they're out of date. You know it needs changing. But yeah, so, you know, obviously pop a filter on and all the rest of it. And he says, as for Margarita Prakatan, which was Matt's question for today, and she was the legendary... It was Nathan's. Oh, right, Nathan's in it. So she was the legendary guest dancer for, what was his name again? Clive
James.
Clive James on a Sunday night's TV in Britain back in the day. Whatever happened to her?
About 2
Apparently
years.
she was being drawn into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That
Should be. Cuban singer she was. It died about 2 years ago.
Oh, she did die. We were discussing this before. I did say I wonder. Because, she was old back then and I was only 10. So, yes. Bless her.
She was from New York. She was, well, not originally from Cuba, but she's New York's greatest gift to the world.
Oh, right. I thought you'd be good one being like, she's a Scouser from Liverpool. Was she?
Cuba's greatest musical export. And, oh, my God.
How's your paint dried, Neve?
Oh, jeez. I have to even look at it. It's still like, you can put your fingerprint in it.
So that's not drying that quick, because if that had been any other paint, you can pick it up and handle it by now.
The enamel, Umbral enamel, is you could just about handle it now, but I think if you left your thumb there for any longer than a second, you'd have a thumbprint in it. But the extra acrylics is still sticky. 2 to 3 hours, I think Krista said.
No one wants a sticky finger.
Yeah, but that's better than like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
If when we're in the garage, remind me, and I'll.
And plus, as well, how cold's your garage tonight?
Well, I mean that's not going to speed the drying time up, is it? But
no.
It's just, I mean, extra. It's shiny, so it's not lost its gloss using the rapid thinners. That's the one thing I can say. I still think it's going to dry quicker than it would.
Oh God, yeah, it should do. We'll find out, won't we?
I reckon it'll be dry tomorrow, but that's the thing always was the thing with enamel paint. Spray a colour, go to bed, come back the next day, spray the same colour.
It's definitely not for the impatient painter, is it?
No. I remember the first time I used it, I had a commission for a Harrier, and I needed the colour for the paint, so it's quite a weird one to get back in the 90s. And I was like, right, okay, we'll get some. And I'd never used it before, painted it and thought, oh, that looks really, really nice. And I used to have a drying literally racks for models to go in for drying, and it had a small heater at the bottom which would blow up, and not as in bang, as in air, and you'd put it in there and a model would be totally workable from using normal Tamiya paints and all the rest of it, acrylics, within 10 minutes. Literally, you used to pop it in there, but you leave it in there for an hour, they'd be bulletproof. Anyway, I left it in there all day, and I put my hand in like you always do, and I grabbed the wing and pull it out, and literally and it stuck on my hand. It was literally gone, and it had been in there for like 4.5, 5 hours, and it was completely sopping wet. And it was in there for literally just about 10 days before I could actually get near it to do anything to it. And it was like, well, there you go, never using that stuff again. So, and that's probably the last time I used it in anger. I was actually using it on a full-on paint job.
Yeah, I mean, these extra colour paints I've got are old. But the only reason I've got these, remember their selling point?
Everybody's going, we're not even finished, look, and everybody's going, thanks for a great show. We're not done. I think that's a hint that they've had enough.
Yeah, they've had it. Is there something on the telly at 9? Never mind.
I don't know why I've kept these, to be honest, because they're not brilliant.
Well, they'd be all right. Yeah, that'll be the only thing that's left when we've all gone.
I mean,
Tins of Umbral and extra colour.
Cockroaches.
This is going to be at least 20 years old, this paint.
Yeah, and it's probably fine. Once you get a good mix, be fine.
Yeah.
Cockroach paints.
I might dig mine out to do some glossing on my woodwork.
It's probably bulletproof as well.
or 22.
Nice.
Very good. Anyway, seeing as everyone's gone, we might as well go as well. Then I can go and eat my birthday cake. Try and slap a birthday cake.
I've not said. I only say it at 9 o'clock when I'm at work and I want to go home.
Yes, that's it. Because Matt normally has to drive home. Now he's only got to go out the door.
I've literally, I've got a long walk to the kitchen and round.
Oh, that's why. Look, naked attractions on.
Have you ever watched that?
Of course I have. I made Tams watch it a couple of weeks back. I think she was horrified.
Oh my god, it's just, yeah.
She's like, is this what you watch when I'm at work? Pretty much.
More for catch-up TV.
And it's just dropped what you're talking about. Oh my god.
Have you watched it, Nate?
I've heard of it.
You ought to watch it with Ange.
Yeah, you ought to watch it with Ange.
Honestly. Pillars at the Red Ale, cushions.
Yeah.
Because what scene cannot be unseen?
That's going to help me sleep.
To be honest, I always feel better after watching it.
I was more likely to go around the corner to get a can of Guinness now. I really fancy one after talking about
You need it.
Yes.
You need it.
Oh, it's quite eye-opening. Look, everyone knows what we're on about.
They've all watched it.
Yes. It's the bit where you tune in and it's the pensioners edition. Because they did that the other day. It was on Gogglebox. It was like, I didn't realise they did a pensioner version of it as well. Anyway, look, they're all going now. Right, we will be off now. Thank you very much for joining us today this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. Happy St. Patrick's Day if you're still planning on going off, or if you're in the US or something and enjoying your evening. Have fun and have one on us, definitely. I'll be with you tomorrow, obviously, for the catch-up show and everything. And obviously, you're going to get the next part, which we'll get you to exactly here on the Hurricane. So it's touching up the paintwork, doing the camo bits, decaling all the bits and pieces to that one is on there. So that'll be up with you around about midday. And then the reveal show, or the roundup show, I should say, will be with you just after that. Remember, if you've got any pictures for the gallery, make sure they're in before sort of 9 o'clock. I tend to do that very first thing before I get on with anything else. So make sure your pictures for the gallery are in nice and early. Cool job. Right, if we're all done, guys, thank you very much for joining this evening. Absolute pleasure as always. We are out of here. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.